was good? Next your name, Amolytics. Happy Saturday, everybody. July 19th. I'll give a little recap of yesterday, and then we'll move forward. We ended up sweeping the slate. It was a great night. 4 out of the 5, that we chose for it ended up homering. Me and Castro went yard there against Bird of the Colorado bullpen, and then a Rosarina, number 2 pick, went yard against Walter, the starting pitcher from Houston, and then Buxton. We had a great night. Went 3 for 5 with a homer against Freeland. And then our number 4, Luke's, he had an RBI single against Verlander there. Toronto got to him early, got him out of there. And then Yandy had a couple hits there along with a home run against Baltimore. So great night there. Our actual home run pick did not hit, being Raleigh. Seattle did get to Water for 2 home runs. I thought they would get to him for home runs. He's been giving up quite a few. Just Raleigh wasn't one of them. And a Rosarina got it, right after him, batting fourth. So, overall, great night. And then if you follow my Instagram and Next Your Name Analytics, I give out the full list of batters that I like for the day, along with the top 5, and then a top 5 of the homers, in addition to the one that I give out on here. So with that being said, we went 10 for 10, overall, and then 2 for 5 on the homers on the night, with 6 out of all batters picked homering. So really good night. Looking to top that tonight. But moving forward on tonight, I like starting out. I like Seager of Texas going against Montero of Detroit. Montero really struggles with lefties. Giving up a 953 OPS, a 173 whip, a 408 weighted OBA. And he's going to see a couple lefties here for Texas, being Smith, being Seager, being Carter, being Heim. I believe they have another switch in that lineup somewhere. I may be forgetting, but those are the ones that I believe can get to him. Seager is supporting a 216 WRC plus 21% K rate over the course of the past couple weeks. Montero has, let me bring up his. So he hasn't been away in quite some time. So his last 5 or so games that he's pitched in, he's been at home. And I believe these games he's had openers for him, except for this Tampa Bay game. So 4 out of those 5, he had an opener for him. And then his last away start was against Kansas City, in which he gave up 8 base runners there, 0 earned. But what you know about Kansas City, one of the worst offenses in the league. So I don't really give weight to that, even though he still gave up 8 base runners. I compare this start, against the Rangers, who have been hot over the course of the past 2 weeks. I compare this to his away start against, he might not start this game against St. Louis, but he pitched against them probably in long relief, but gave up 10 base runners, 5 earned there. And then at the beginning of the year, he started in Milwaukee and gave up 9 base runners, 5 earned, 3 home runs there. So I like for the Rangers to get to him. Seager has been batting really well. They were batting as a team really well prior to the All-Star break. So I like this for them. And with that being said, I'm going to double up with Smith at the top of the lineup. He's supporting a 141 WRC plus 14% K rate against right-handed pitching. Him and Seager, back-to-back there. I don't see them walking him to get to Seager, so you got to give him something to hit there. Next up, I like Keith on the other side of this game, going against Rocker of Texas. Rocker, he's quite susceptible, to giving up runs, to giving up home runs, to be honest. With lefties, he's getting up a 904 OPS, 178 whip, a 388 weighted OBA. Keith has a 177 WRC plus, 19% K rate against right-handed pitching. I like this for him. I like this for him. I like this for Detroit. I like the over for this game, to be honest. I think runs are scored on both sides here. He hasn't, Rocker, I'm looking through his game logs now. He just got shelled by the Angels, gave up 7 base runners there, 6 earned, 3 home runs. Prior to that, he faced San Diego, who's been, quite trash at over the course of the past month, offensively wise. And Seattle, Pittsburgh, the White Sox. None of those teams I really give any weight to. He gave up at least 5 base runners in all those games. I will say Tampa Bay got to him for 8 base runners, 5 earned there, 1 home run, and then you got the Athletics, who got some dangerous lefties in their lineup as well. Got to him for 8 base runners, 5 earned, 1 home run there. So I believe this is good competition for him. Detroit, has been putting up runs lately. I know they're on a losing streak right now, but they've been putting up runs. Just their pitching, has not been there. And their pitching has been getting shelled. So they haven't been able to quite pull any out. But I believe this is high scoring on both sides. Moving forward, I like Busch of the Cubs going against Bello. I will say Bello has been pitching better this year. I give him that. Quite naturally, I just know Bello from struggling with lefties over the course of his career. That's been, a thing. This year, it's quite an even split, on the platoon side, being lefties, I believe, are batting 243, righties batting 242. However, while, looking at his game logs, I'm noticing that he's rarely pitched on the road. Out of 15 starts, he has 4 on the road. I believe the Cubs are a step up in competition. He's faced Sanford on the road. Not really, anything special. Still, that was a couple weeks ago. That was about the end of June there. Gave up 5 base runners there, 1 earned, 2 home runs. And then Milwaukee got to him for 5 base runners there, 1 earned, 1 home run. Milwaukee's not really good against right-handed pitching, I will say that. Detroit, heavy lefties in there. Gave up 8 base runners, 2 earned there, 1 home run. And then at Cleveland at the beginning of the year, gave up 9 base runners, 3 earned there, 1 home run. As I mentioned, I believe this is a step up in competition for him. He's going to see, probably the best lineup he's seen this year. Looking through this is honestly, in my opinion, this is the best lineup he's going to see as far as the top 5, in the lineup. And, Busch, they moved him to leadoff. He has a 212 WRC plus against right-handed pitching with a 21% K rate. And then you got Bello with a 696 OPS, which isn't high. I'll give him that, but a 142 whip. So he's definitely walking lefties, and then a 315 weighted OBA. I believe they get to him here, and I also believe that there's a path for Boston to get to Imanga. Imanga's, susceptible to giving up the home run, and hard contact. Boston's seen a bunch of lefties over the course of the past 2 weeks, past couple weeks, I would say. And so I see both pitchers, giving up runs here, and I believe that Boston can get the Imanga, and the Cubs will get the Bello. Lastly, I like Buxton of Minnesota. We're going back there. Going against Zensatella of the Rockies. Buxton is supported a 140 WRC plus, 25% K rate over the course of the past couple weeks against right-handed pitching. And then you got Zensatella with a 949 OPS, a 172 whip, and a 402 weighted OBA given up to right-handed pitching. Right-handed batters. I will say his splits a little bit are, leaning to the left-hand side. He gives up, a little higher average, being 370 to lefties at 335 to righties, but at the same time, you're north of 330 to both sides. So I really don't see it as a platoon, difference by any means. The OPS is about the same, being lefties are a 959 and righties being a 949. Buxton's, been a one-man offensive show for Minnesota, and I suspect that to, continue on tonight. He's in a hitter's ballpark. You got, somebody that struggles with pitching, as a whole, and then they're in a batter's ballpark, doesn't sit well. Last couple starts got shelled against Boston, gave up 9 base runners, 4 earned there, 2 home runs. The White Sox got to him for 8 base runners, 3 earned, 1 home run. And Milwaukee, I would speak to this last one. He gave up 11 base runners, 5 earned, and 1 home run. So, he's been, getting got to, over the course of the whole year. I will say, it's not any difference, in any of these uh, games. But as I mentioned, he's struggled the whole year. Buxton's, coming to his own, over the past couple weeks. He's about the only one that you can trust on that Minnesota lineup. And so, I like him here. I like him to keep it going. Just hit for the cycle recently and then had that 3 for 5 game last night. So I set him to, keep it going here against Cincinnati. But in order, I like Seager, Buxton, Smith, uh, Busch, and then Keith in that order. And then for my home run, I like Rooker of the Athletics. I believe he can get to Allen here. I will say Allen hasn't been giving up like an average wise, on the year. So, but he does give up power. He does give up power in his last speak to it. His last 7 games, 5 out of 7, he's given up at least 1 home run. And being his home starts, I don't think he started that one. So actually, his last 6 starts, 5 out of the 6, he's given up a home run. So I like this for Rooker. I believe they have Cleveland favored on the money line. Yeah, I think so. I don't know about that one. I believe the Athletics, are in a decent spot here against Allen. He's not someone that I trust. I don't trust, Cleveland starting pitching, overall. But he's not someone I trust. Saravino has been bad this year, but his home and away splits are drastically different. Way better on the road. So this is, maybe a underdog, spot to take here. And Rooker, somebody that I believe can send one against Allen here. They've seen him 1 time, maybe 2 times. Rooker's 0 for 3 with 2 walks, 1 K. I don't really, that's maybe 1 game. That's probably 1 game. Saw him maybe 2 games. Maybe 2 games he saw him there. Maybe he has 2 walks there as well. But, I really don't give that any weight, and as I mentioned, Allen's been giving up home runs over the course of the past, couple weeks. Hasn't been giving up an average. I will, give him that. But I like this for Rooker, and I like this, for the Athletics overall. They offensively they're about, middle of the pack in the league, and you got Cleveland, who's been absolutely horrible, over the past couple weeks. I will give them that they have started to get the bats going a little bit, but then again, I don't really trust them by any means, and their bullpen hasn't been that great either. So I like this for Rooker, but that's my top 5. That's my home run. As I mentioned, I will release the full 10 batters that I like on the night for a hit, and then as well as the 5 spots that I like for a home run. If you want to be notified when I post, please subscribe and turn on your notifications, like, comment, share. Please let me know any suggestions that you have for the channel, for the content. I'm open ears at all times. But, have a great day.